Oh, we're back! Yeah,
Ooh. Let's go.
We're here on the Zoom.
Back to the Zoom, boys.
Welcome back to Draft Boyz, the FPL Draft podcast. As always, joined by Marley G, Hito, and myself, Whitey. Lads, how we doing?
Pretty
Doing
good,
good,
besides
baby.
not being in the same room together.
I know. A last-minute COVID scare has separated us. Yeah, unfortunately, I had the sniffles literally an hour before the record. Like, nothing all day, and then I was like, oh yeah. And then as the day went on, and as the hour went on, it was like hitting me hard. And then now I'm blowing my nose. Like, I'm really glad we didn't get together. So it worked out.
We've never been more aware of our bodies, boys. We're just zoned in on it now, aren't we?
It's filth. It's filth. I'm a cesspit. With a kid in daycare, I've got no hope.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it, boys. I want to talk about how our teams went.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Maybe you should go first, Whitey, because you actually called the Big Weight Hotline.
Oh, yeah, that hotline. That's me doing a terrible phone impression. Randomly, like, I just brought up my points and it's not showing me who scored the points. Here we go. I've got it. So I got 63 points this week. Pretty happy about that. That's the hotline. That's anything over 60 is worth calling the big week hotline.
Yeah. They might
yeah.
put you on hold for a few minutes, but
Yeah, exactly.
you definitely get through.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Pope 10 points. Very happy about that. And Diaz another 6 points. Clean sheets at City are coming a dime a dozen. Not a dime a dozen. The opposite of a dime a dozen.
Yeah. Floodgates are open.
Philly Foden with 9, and yeah, Rodrigo being one of the best ones. I picked him up this week. 15 fucking points.
Huge pickup. Huge pickup.
And then I guess I should probably mention Watkins as well. He got me 11 points. So yeah, pretty juicy. I think it like a bit of depth there, so that's nice. I will give a special mention to Mitrovic, who decided to really turn around my week and miss a penalty.
Did it just for you, mate.
-1. I was like, you fucker. I
Bench
left him
1 week, bring him on the next and get minus points.
I
That's
know.
harsh.
It gives you -1 over 2 games.
Oh my goodness. Anyway,
Fucking savage.
enough about my team. How'd you boys go?
Yeah, I was all right. I really benefited from the City defense. I've got 3 of them. So Edison, Cancelo and Walker really helped out my 45-point haul. But besides from that, mate, I've just got a James goal and a Mbembo goal. So I was pretty quiet this week for the 4-time champ.
Oh, God. All right, Hito, you got to start talking so I don't have to hear that anymore.
Don't worry, I won't talk for long. 21, that's all I'll say.
Oh. Who was
So you had a few players play
performer?
some minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like 11 people, almost 11 people started.
Yeah, and then Saliba
And played
or
60
Saliba
minutes.
tried to score a goal at the wrong end. So
Oh,
that
God.
cooked me.
There's been a few own goals already, hey?
I know.
Yeah.
Like
Surprisingly.
Dean scored one this week, Saliba, and there was a couple last week as well. It's been good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great stat about the Dean own goal. I think last year he scored an own goal in the same fixture.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Against
Yeah.
Everton or something. Oh, no, playing for Everton against Villa. Yeah,
Against Villa. Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
hilarious.
Good. Okay. Yeah, not too bad, boys. Well, Milo, you're on Snack Chat this week, and it was a bit of a special snack, wasn't it?
Look, it was going to be special.
Oh, no, I was saying, obviously we're not together, but Miles has actually gone and delivered Snack Chat to our doors.
Yeah, I'm practicing for my Uber Eats career. I'm not sure
cool.
when it's going to get to it, but good boys. You never know. Times are tough out there.
Yeah, you never know when you'll drive again.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
dropped off the boys a couple of snacks and drinks, and the drinks a Brooklyn Union vodka, lemon, lime, and bitters. I can hear Whitey rustling.
Ooh, I love these.
Yeah, I've never had one actually.
Oh my
think
God,
we've-
it's so exciting. It's like a little brown paper bag full of goodies.
And for the snack, I've bought us some chomps.
Dude, so good.
Love a
One of my
chomp.
all-time favorites.
Yeah.
Listen to that crack.
If someone could do a screenshot, because I've got too many hands holding stuff, and I'll put it up on our socials.
So when we did my missus came in and saw the chomp. She thought I was on Snapchat this week, and she was like, "Oh, have you just planned for to give the boys one little baby chomp each? Like that's so stingy."
So funny, man.
I'm like, fucking hell! It tells me what my wife thinks of me. I'm like, no, I got 3 of them from Miles.
Yeah, well, he saw you after your first bloody snack chat week.
Yeah.
So, you've got a record of really letting us down in this season.
I know she's got a low opinion of me, but mate, they are absolutely delicious. I am going to give you a 9.4 for the drink, and I'm going to give you a 10 for the chomp.
Oh, let's go! That's delivery as well in there, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a delivery charge of 0.6 points.
Yeah,
I kind of want to say a chomp can come in 2 ways. Sometimes they're like really soft, and sometimes they just break off. They're super hard. I hate when they're soft.
Me too.
This one's pretty hard, but I'm going to rate chomp on its overall aspect.
You take so long with your bloody ratings, mate.
10, and Local and Lime Bitters, 8.2.
All right. Let's talk some footy.
That's a good round.
All right. So we're going to keep continuing on with our new format. We're going to pick and talk about roughly 5 teams. Sometimes we talk about a few more. Basically, we do a feature on those 5 teams. They're the teams that had some of the most interesting games, some of the most interesting maybe fantasy outlets as well. And then we'll go on. We're going to do a little bit of a chat of our hot prospects and prospects. And then we'll do a segment called the Chopping Block, which was previously known as Relegation Nation, but it's come up with a new name.
Relegation Nation.
Relegation Nation.
Does not exist.
Yeah, which is no longer the name. And then we'll just do some questions from fans and some top picks. And I think we've got a pretty fun question this week, don't we, Miles?
I'm really excited about our fan question this week. We're going to dedicate it to talking about a new fan of ours called Viren. He sent us his draft from his group, and he's in a pretty spicy league, 12-man. Let's save it for later.
Okay, I'm excited. Yeah. All right, love to hear from the fans. All right, well, let's start at the beginning here. First one I've got here is Chelsea versus Tottenham. Man, was that a spicy
boys.
Encounter.
Yeah, how do you boys feel after that?
I mean...
you go, Whitey.
I mean, I enjoyed it because, I feel like we haven't had as many fiery football encounters lately. I don't know what it is. If it's COVID or something. Things have changed. But fucking hell. The sideline was crazy between Tuchel and Conte. I know it's got nothing to do with fantasy, but we can't not talk about it.
Yeah. That handshake at the end was absolutely insane.
It was hilarious.
Tuchel just being like, look in my eyes when you're shaking my hand.
Yeah, I know. I was watching a pundit today talk about it, and he's like, I kind of respect it. You get a last-minute goal like that, at least you could do is say, good game. That was a good game.
Yeah. The best thing I saw from that was he was talking about how, you look in a man's eyes when you shake his hand, and then there's a photo of him shaking Sean Dyche's hand from last season. He's not even looking at him. His arm's behind him. Yeah. I'm like, you fucking salty bastard. I love it. I love the needle. I love the fire. Both are going to be from the stands or not in the stadium next week.
I know. That's
getting red cards, but yeah, some interesting scorers as well this week.
Yeah, so let's from Koulibaly. Shit.
What a cracking volley by him.
Yeah.
He waited perfectly there.
1 of 3 attempts as well, I think that was. He had 3 attempts on goal.
Yeah, and he actually looks like someone that's really going to fill those Rudiger shoes that have left a massive hole in Chelsea's defence. And he just kind of seems like he's really up for it. He's really passionate, really emotional when he misses those chances. So I'm actually quite excited to see him going forward in the future.
And I would just say as well, like I had a quick chat with Miles earlier in the week about the Chelsea game. And I think in preseason, we were like, Hito's very skeptical of Chelsea. We were a bit like, yeah, look, there's a lot going on. And I thought defensively, I think we were a bit worried. But honestly, we played so well. We pressed so high up the pitch, stopped Tottenham's counter. Reece James played an amazing game at right centre back, Loftus-Cheek filling at right wing back, and he was incredible. Like seriously, actually looked so good out there.
He did, yeah.
It's obviously not exactly how we might want to play, and yeah, we're still trying to sign a few players, but I was a little less doubtful of Chelsea's defence after watching that game, and I know it did end up being two goals, but there was a bit going on there. Can we talk about that controversy as well?
Yeah, I mean, what with Lofty?
Well, I mean, no, with Havertz going and then the Havertz. Well, first of all, was that a foul on Havertz
Before Tottenham's first goal? Yeah, I feel like he did touch the ball, but it was such a minute touch, and then it was just all body after that. And I don't want to be a salty Chelsea fan, but I feel like if, that happens to United or Liverpool, that gets called so much more often. And I just feel like, with Chelsea, they let a lot of things go by, especially with those two refs. Anthony Taylor is known to make really, really bad calls in Chelsea games. So that was really disappointing. But I think that Chelsea, as a team, they have to be in the moment a bit more, and I think that they let that goal kind of slide in.
Jorginho fucked that up too.
Yeah,
he tried to pass it out, and just quickly before we move on, if you drag someone down by their hair, is it a red card?
Look, that's
not.
That's a VAR thing, and
that was a fucking red card, man.
How did they?
Yeah,
not
that was ridiculous.
Pull that back?
I watched, I was watching some of the review and all that, and they, how they get, is it Chris Foy that comes on? And,
yeah. Oh yeah, the ex ref, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that's a red card. I don't understand what's going on there.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
He was
the view on it was insane.
Is he going to be under review for that? Because that's violent conduct, basically.
Yeah, I don't think he would be the player from that. Yeah,
right.
Because it's not in the rules. But okay. I think the ref should be under review for sure. Yeah,
I'd agree with that. Okay, so let's talk more fantasy assets here. Reece James as well, scoring a goal. Chelsea's defense being the outlets here. Reece James is playing as right centre back, and he is up there in that much space. What's going on?
Yeah, the formation's really allowing him to do that. So that's maybe good signs for assets for sure.
Yeah, for people that might have been worried about James, he was going to play as, a right centre-back at times, he can still get forward and get opportunities. So, and a nice, cool finish from him. But yeah, let's talk about Tottenham as well.
Yeah, Tottenham's an interesting one because we got the Kane goal in the 95th, but still he wasn't extremely convincing for me. And I know that it is against Chelsea, who looked really, really good, but even their other assets, like Son, I'm not worried about him because of the two games that they've played, but I think that they just need a little bit of time because Tottenham are generally slow starters.
Yeah.
And just with that whole thing of Reece James getting so much space and their defense just being completely wide open, it's just not a typical Conte. How do I put it, guys? It's not really how he trains his men. So I think that they'll fix that leak quite quickly.
I'd agree with that too.
And Chelsea were all over them, and they're a good team. So I think against most teams, those players won't be as kind of locked up by the man himself, Kante, all over the place.
Well, dude, he was out pretty early with his hammy.
Yeah. It was everywhere though, wasn't he, when he was on though?
Yeah, he was very good. He was very good. And the other, honestly, I shouted him out before, but Reece James made it very difficult for Son to get involved in the game. and that's obviously why Tuchel played him there, because he's quick enough to handle Sonny. And I think he really almost played him out of the game.
Exactly.
So
that's perfect.
We should mention the goal scorer, Højbjerg, as well. Scored from distance there. Kind of not too bad, not necessarily a fantasy asset there. I would have just said that, Tottenham, I think we're a bit out of their league in that game. I think Chelsea had the upper hand. They had possession. I think tactically they outplayed them. And, it was a 2-2 draw. But there was plenty of stuff that went on.
Yeah, 100%. Nice and fiery.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about a fun one.
Brentford.
Well, that was a fun one, but this is fun too. Brentford.
Oh, this was really fun.
I do love it.
Do you know what was interesting? I just watched the replay, and I knew the score, but I didn't know when the goals came. And I was absolutely mind blown that they were all in the first half. I couldn't believe it.
When I saw that, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. I was just expecting it to be spread across, but oh my God, it was flashbacks to Liverpool smashing them 5-0.
I know, man. And it was De Silva straight back in the goals after his nice curling goal last week. Obviously, De Gea should have done better there. Near post and spills it into his own net. I don't know how he does that.
Crazy.
Yeah, pretty shocking from him. I mean, their defending was rubbish for the other goal too, for Jensen's goal.
God.
I don't know who it was. He just pressed.
De Gea played it out to Eriksen, and Eriksen had the man all over him. What about little Jensen's little turn and roll of the ball, and then rolls it to his right, and then cuts the ball and shoots left. I was like, oh, fucking hell, that was spice. Dude, that was so spice.
That was nice. And then one of our favorites is back in the goals, baby.
Yeah,
Benny Me.
He's
a fan of the pod. And he was obviously trying to get someone some points this week. That was hilarious.
Oh, he was just it just completely overwhelmed Man United's defense with height and strength.
I know, and I think
goal. I was just going to say goal, assist, and 2 bonus. Boom.
Yeah, how good is that?
Massive.
And then I don't think we can leave out Marley's boy at the end here. I think we'll let Miles take this.
It was so good. I mean, they were up 3-0, and then they were just don't forget about Wembo.
They did not forget about him.
That pass from freaking Tony.
But Jensen too, to start that counter.
Yeah, true.
Incredible, man.
Insane.
But the Tony pass was clutch. It just perfectly went there. And I feel like Shaw was I've got the gas. I can get there. And then all of a sudden he was oh, shit.
Yeah.
And Wembo's fully got me.
He was regretting some of those meat pies over the holiday break, wasn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
We've spoken about the goals. Now let's just talk about Brentford as a team, because they've got great run of fixtures, and I think so many of their assets are pickups right now. Mm-hmm. I think that their defense is looking really, really good. Not just Ben Mee, but you've got Henry. I think he's just amazing. Obviously Jensen. Oh no, so he's in mid, isn't he? No, he's in defense.
Jensen's in defense.
He's in defense.
Nice and confusing.
Yeah.
I thought for a second when I saw the points, because I had Jensen in the first week and dropped him, I was you've got to be fucking kidding me. And then I realized it was the other Jensen. So I was
Jensen,
okay.
Oh my God. That would have been
heart attack.
That would have been hilarious, because that would have been 2 players you dropped this week.
I know. It's good.
We'll talk about the next one later. But so I just think that there's quite a few pickups, and
they could even run of fixtures.
It's amazing.
I'm trying to get it up right now. Hang on. Have you got it up?
I've got it, yeah. Fulham, Everton, Palace, Leeds, Southampton. Then they hit Arsenal, which is going to be hard, but then Bournemouth, Newcastle, Brighton.
I mean, shit.
That's insane. That's literally nearly 8 fixtures that are absolutely creaming in the next 9.
I know, and they've even, got a bit of backup now with Dramsgaard, who, we were going to bring up in our section later about some players that have signed since we last spoke, but he's meant to be quite a good creative player, as well. Hopefully, maybe potentially filling that hole that Ericsson left.
Mm.
I mean, they look to only get stronger. I mean, I'm pretty impressed by them, to be fair. I had my doubts because Ericsson left, but now I'm starting to go, shit, I want Brentford.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, let's talk about Arsenal.
Yeah, sweet baby Jesus.
2 weeks in a row.
Jesus.
Wow. So I guess we got to just give the man props. He's just been so good preseason, and he had a bit of a blank in the first game week, but he's come back and he's just proved the owners correct. But 2 goals, 2 assists. Good. He looks so good.
Yeah, mad draft regret right here.
Oh, what was the decision?
I picked Saka instead of him.
Oh shit!
Yeah, huge regret there.
Yeah, look. I mean, I just had a feeling about him. He's as long as he stays away from any injuries, God, he works so hard for Arsenal. Like, he gives them so much. He's like presses so high up the pitch. He can that is a beautiful finish, curled top bin, and then obviously he was right place, right time, poaching goal for that header at the back post.
Yeah, so good. Oh, that first, fucking hell, that was beautiful. The chip.
And I mean, for the remaining, he had another 3 chances after that, which he couldn't put away for a hattie. And that was probably us seeing a little bit of that, lack of finishing that Jesus is famous for. But it does seem like he's getting the opportunities. And honestly, Arsenal are looking good.
Arsenal look really, really good, guys. Martinelli's going to have a massive season. And I know that Leicester, was it Leicester? Yeah, they scored 2 goals. One of them was an own goal, and the other goal, if from memory, it was a bit how you're going. So I think their defense is going to keep so many clean sheets.
It was Matto. Matto kind of drilled one.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
it wasn't too bad a goal. It was really the Saliba own goal, and that was a bit of miscommunication. I mean, I don't know. I can't fault him too much there. I mean, obviously, not great, but I wouldn't be freaking out if I owned him.
No, and their fixtures are just so amazing that it's just really worth. I think the only person that might be available would be Saliba. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Saliba.
I think he would have been picked up by a lot of people last week, seeing that he started. But yeah, he could still be free, and maybe if he's still free, people might be deterred by the own goal. But he played really well besides that, so that might be an easy way in.
If there's anyone out there who listen, I mean, if the people listening to this podcast listened last week, then they probably have him because we shouted out Saliba.
That's true.
We did.
But I just say that Arsenal looks so confident. All of their players look so up for it. I think they're just they've got a good unit. There's a lot of positivity this season that I feel like we haven't seen at Arsenal for a long time. And the last thing I'll say, is it just me or is Arteta looking a bit swole?
Is he looking swole?
What do you mean by swole?
He's looking he's looking pretty fit in his little t-shirt on the sideline. He's been working out.
Look,
he in the gym.
He does look like that, but he looks so fucking focused. I've never seen a Spaniard look that focused, mate. Honestly.
Not since Fernando Torres was eyeing up his contract at Chelsea. Okay, boys, any other players you want to highlight in that fixture there?
No, I think we've covered it, boys.
Okay, let's talk about... We'll do a quick one on Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Marl, I feel like you had a bit to say here. I'm keen to hear it.
I watched this game, guys, and I haven't watched a Forest game ever in my life. And obviously it was their first fixture back in the Prem after 21, 22 years or something. They sung this song pre-game, which gave me crazy Anfield vibes. It was
oh Jesus,
the energy,
shots fired,
and was just so full on. And the game started just just like the song. Nottingham were just all over West Ham. There was so many half chances created. And I feel like it was probably because there was so much pressure on the players that just when they got to that final moment, they didn't actually make the attempt a possible chance.
So were they lacking finishing, or was it lacking the final ball?
I think lacking the final ball and a few finishes. But look, I think the Awoni is going to have a pretty good year. I do worry a little bit about Johnson because just from this game, it really seemed like he was on the back foot a bit. I don't know if it was because of Awoni's kind of debut game and he had a lot of energy himself. But that's just what it looked like to me from the first glance.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking about it the other day. Is it Dennis that's moved?
Yeah, that's a big conundrum there to what's happening up front then.
Mate, Nottingham Forest paid 20 mil for him. I think, is it Nottingham Forest that spent the most money of any Premier League team this season?
I think they're third highest.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay. Maybe it was someone else.
I think Chelsea.
Signings. But anyway, Nottingham Forest, yeah, they signed Dennis. So he was clutch last year for Watford.
Yeah, I think he got about 10 goals or so, I think, was last year or so.
Yeah, so that makes the whole Awoni, Johnson and Dennis battle, like I think that they're going to share a lot of minutes, and it's hard to tell how the manager's going to use them at the moment. So look, it's a really tough one for me because I know that Awoni's available in our league because Hito dropped him up last week. But no, I wasn't. That wasn't a dig. But it's after this Dennis signing, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
To be honest, I didn't feel too bad when I saw his goal. I didn't feel too bad. Got a lucky rebound off his leg.
It was lucky. He got in a lot of good positions, and it kind of felt like that goal was going to come regardless of like that finish.
I'm just curious, like, okay, so Dennis comes in. I mean, if you guys have a third striker right now, are you going, shit, that's a proven Premier League scorer coming in? Like, how quickly do you jump on it?
Man, I don't know, but I feel like you've kind of, if you've got a third spot, you just do it, don't you?
I mean, for me, like, yeah, I guess it purely depends a little bit on their fixtures. I don't know if you've got them up still, Heat. But
yeah, I do, baby.
You know, even if they had a couple of good ones in amongst that,
it's not horrible.
Tasty.
It's not horrible. They've got Everton, Spurs, City, Bournemouth, Leeds, Fulham. Not horrible. Four decent ones out of 6.
Yeah, see, I mean, he could get a chance to get running.
And you're not signing him if you're not going to fucking play him. So,
well, not for 20 million for a team like them. Like that 20 million is big money.
Yeah. And maybe one thing just to mention to our listeners is maybe it might be worth, if you've got Nottingham assets, just trying to play them when they're at home, because last week they didn't play amazing away from home, but it really felt like when they were at home, they had a 12th man on the field. So that might be just something to watch. That's just the vibe that I was getting.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, cool. All right, let's move into our Leeds coverage here. Man, first guy we got to talk about is Rodrigo. Shit, man. He had great...
Man in form.
Form in preseason was really good, and he's carried it into this season in the Prem. Like, he's looking really good in behind the striker there.
Really, really good. And I'm not sure if it's going to eventuate to anything, but I know that Bamford had a little bit of a niggle that he got taken off for. So that is something to watch, because Rodrigo should go up top if that's the case.
Yeah, well, I mean, another good spot there. Hang on, it's an abductor problem, apparently, for Bamford.
Yeah, I don't know.
He'll probably out of the season again.
I don't know if he's out for the whole season, though. I think it was I think it was precautionary.
Yeah, I haven't seen an update since the day after where the manager said he didn't think it was going to be a huge problem. So I'm waiting for the press conferences later in the week.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
fair
good
enough.
shout.
Regardless, Rodrigo for me, he looks the shit. He's a pickup. He's a top. He's in form. I mean, and Leeds have a good run of fixtures too, don't they? Pretty sure.
Yeah, Chelsea next week, but then they've got Brighton, Everton, Brentford, Forest, Man United, the best of them all.
Yeah, I know. And the best thing is, like, I'm on the fantasy site here looking at, how they have their color system on the official site. It's like, obviously Chelsea's a 4, and then it goes, Brighton is green, Everton green, Brentford green, Nottingham Forest green, and then United's red. And I'm like, more of a green.
Yeah, it's green.
What's better than green?
Yeah. Maybe they're colorblind. Maybe they're colorblind like you two boys, and they just haven't figured out. They haven't changed it yet.
But then after that United fixture, they've got Villa and Palace after that. So
yeah,
you're kind of factoring that United fixture in as actually being a good one. It's such a good run, man, after Chelsea. And I feel like, if anything, this is the week to pick up Leeds players, because there's going to be so many people might drop players because they're playing Chelsea, or maybe be holding off on potential, pickups. So I think if you're going to pull a trigger, and especially if you're in anything bit larger than a 7-man league or something like that, you got to pull that trigger now.
Yeah,
definitely. And, they've got 2 other really good midfielders that I think that we just need to mention in Aronson and Harrison. Harrison's been in some attacking returns so far. Aronson is yet to, but he's still claiming the goal from the first game week, which he didn't get credited for. But, I know he's running around the dressing room being like, that's a goal, that's a goal. So, I think that they're 2 to watch as well, because we know that Harrison...
2 assists. Yeah, he's got 2 assists there. He's sitting in my team. I liked him. I thought he had a good preseason, and with this next round of fixtures, I'm pretty happy to have both Harrison and Rodrigo sitting in my team.
Yeah, the season before, that original Leeds that came up, we know that how deadly they can be for FPL assets. So it could be another good session for them.
Can I ask one question? There's obviously, they spent a bit of money trying to replace Rafinha this year, and one of the guys that they signed is Sinistera, and he played 6 minutes, so he came on as a sub last week, but I think he was injured since a bit of preseason, so obviously he's going to take a bit of time to get into the squad. But with those good fixtures, I just have a feeling that maybe he could get a bit of a run out. So I don't know who drops out of that squad though. That's probably the big thing. It could be Rodrigo and Aronson comes central. This Sinistera guy goes out wide. So that'd be one thing that I would be worried about.
Yeah, we'll have to I just need a little bit more information, don't we?
Yeah, okay. All right, you guys happy that we've covered Leeds off nicely?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Let's go to our last one here with Villa. Hito?
Yeah, well, I think all we need to talk about is really Watkins.
Watkins. Yeah, look, I'm pretty happy with him.
Yeah,
Watkins,
2 assists.
Yeah.
After no start last week, I was like, oh, God. And Ingsy's up front. I'm like, fuck, I fucked this up.
Yeah. Interesting that he's, back out wide, and Ingsy's been worked back into the team. Ingsy obviously scored a goal as well.
And it was a nice goal, man. Like, if he's playing like that, I feel like he's going to be playing up front because he's just so clinical.
Agree.
And then
remember him at Southampton days? He had a good grade season for them.
Dude, he was amazing there.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Ings could explode. That's one thing that, like, he has that capability.
You heard it here first, boys. You heard it here first. Ings could explode.
I mean, look, he could either get injured or he could just go on a crazy run where,
yeah, dude, that's what explode means. He could explode and be injured and explode and get a lot of goals.
Besides from that, honestly, the only other person that impressed me was Buendia.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
The other midfielders were just not up to the standard, I didn't think, guys.
No, I think when Deer came on and made a great, impact on the game.
Yeah, 2 sub appearances. We'll have to see if he has earned a spot, hey, for next week.
Yeah, he's playing for it, eh? He's got good competition in Coutinho for kind of his similar spot, but I was looking at that and going, shit, he looked good.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely one to watch.
Okay, boys, let's go on to our next segment. Hot prospects in form. Look, why don't you run us through them? We've already kind of covered a couple there.
Yeah, so obviously Rodrigo, Martinelli, and Tony, I think, are pretty much the 3 biggest in-form players in the Premier League at the moment. Then
outside of the big dogs, you mean? Like
outside of the big dogs, like, KDB and, Salah have had 2, good games.
Jesus and Cancelo, for example, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think we didn't actually mention Tony that much, like in our Brentford chat. He got a double assist, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Double assist, goal and 2 assists this season. That's definitely one that's looking really good.
Yeah, Milo, sorry, I interrupted you there. What was that?
No, and the only other thing, I know it's not a person, but I do want to give a shout out to Newcastle defence, because we have spoken about how they have shorn up their defence over the last over half a year, like since the new owners have been there. They do have terrible fixtures for the next 3 weeks, but maybe that is a good opportunity to still get what's available, because I do believe that they're going to be a lot more solid from the back this year. And I'm expecting a big year from Newcastle defenders.
Yeah, and I mean, look, if you're picking them up as a 5th pick, I'm looking at their fixtures and, City, it's a bad one. But, if you're not overly committed to Newcastle, you can bench them for that game. Wolves, you'll play them again. Liverpool, obviously, kind of a similar situation. But after that, they start getting into a bit more of a sweet spot, and they've got a good run. Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford, Man United, Everton.
It's really solid. I thought you were going to say when you got to Liverpool, and you play them again.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, one name, we mentioned him last week, Shah. We weren't sure if he was if he was going to get minutes this week, but he's backed it up with a clean sheet.
Yeah.
In fucking good form. 20 points to his name already.
Yeah. Props have to go to Pope though at the back. He was on fire. 5 saves, 3 bonus.
Yeah.
He's really helped. He's really helped there.
Is he, I'm just curious actually who the high scoring goalkeeper is at the moment.
It's probably going to be Sarr or Henderson, I think.
Oh, shit, because they say pens, eh?
Yeah.
It's Henderson. They're tied on 17, but Pope's on 16.
Yeah, right.
So it's close.
I think you've got to really, without having saved a penalty, give props to Pope there. I think he's probably going to turn out to be one of the best keepers this year.
He could be, honestly.
And you're not just saying that because he's in your team.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah. Okay, boys, let's get to the fun stuff. The chopping block.
Yeah, let's do it.
Shit, who's on the chopping block this week?
What do you reckon, Hayat?
The chopping block. The first one I've put on there for the list, and it's a bit tired, it hurts me a little bit because it's my own player, is Neto.
Yeah, he hasn't really performed in the way that he looked, especially pre-season. Kind of goes back to that thing that I was saying, guys, about how Neto didn't look as good as Podence without Jimenez. I know that Podence didn't have a good game this week, but, it's one of those things where Wolves, they don't actually score a lot of goals. So
I know. And they seem like they had a lot of chances this game. Podence and both Hwang both got in the exact same position on the left side of the goal, shooting straight at the keeper. Neto also had a horrible touch when he got nearly one-on-one, basically rounded the keeper. from a mistake there and had the heaviest touch, which sent the ball across the face of the goal, which was absolutely horrendous. And you look at fixtures against Leeds and Fulham, and you're like, they're the two fixtures that you'd want those type of players to hit the ground running. And it's like, fucking hell. Like,
and speaking of fixtures, they got Tottenham next week, Newcastle the week after that, who we've just been saying have a great defense. And then, they've got Bournemouth, Southampton, but then they go straight into Liverpool City and then West Ham, Chelsea. Like, it just doesn't, maybe, I think even if you dropped Neto this week and in 2 weeks' time you were like, I'll give him a go against Bournemouth, like, I think he'd still be available, especially if you keep staying at the bottom of the league.
Yeah, 100%.
On that waiver wire.
That's the prime part of not being too far ahead yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting first pick at all these little nuggets.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I like that. Milo, you got anyone on the chopping block?
Look, I've got a little bit of a controversial one, and I don't know if it's too soon to put him on the block, but I just wanted to bring up Mahrez.
You're going after my team, mate, aren't you?
Well, I mean, if you're at the bottom of the league, your players are probably going to be on the chopping block. So it's not my fault.
Miles,
you'll be bringing up Trent next week.
Oh, I could be, mate, after what Liverpool have done. Jeez.
Miles,
so
it was the easiest way for me to research. I just went straight to Hito's team, went, okay, cool, just fill in a couple names, chopping block. We're going to have actually such potent content for chopping block each week because we got Hito's team to look at.
You boys are just fueling the fire, though. It's just like, I get to take all of this into my team on the weekend.
But look, guys, I want to get back to it because it's actually like a strategic mention. So I'm saying he's not a drop, but I'm saying, Mahrez is someone like a fine wine. You got to just keep on playing him until something happens. And I'm saying when that something happens, I think you want to try and get some value off him and just trade him off for someone that's playing, a regular 90 minutes, who's, just going to probably score more points throughout the season because City have so many scoring options now. And I'm really not loving that rotation, especially for draft assets. So, if you don't have KDB or Haaland, I'd be kind of worried about the other four.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I feel like that's harsh. I feel like I'm going to disagree. Did you say KDB or Haaland?
Yeah.
I think Foden is going to be probably one of the more nailed on that team. And I think we're going to be seeing a little bit of Grealish, a little bit of Mahrez rotation. I mean, Mahrez, what did he play? Oh, he played 90 minutes this game, hey?
So the one that dropped out was Grealish and then Mahrez coming in. So Foden's played both. So the question now is to see, does Foden keep his spot or does it rotate back to Grealish? And then we know Foden's the favoured. And then I think that locks him in. And then those two are the rotation.
I'd agree with that too. And, that's going to be played basically on form. So, I mean, I'm a Grealish owner. Hito, you're a Mahrez owner. I mean, I'm a little concerned about Grealish, but I think I'm going to hold and wait and see what happens because I do think at some point one of them will become a favourite and you want to have them when they do.
It's kind of got to wait and see. But there's good fixtures coming up to really determine that, who can produce some goals.
Well, dude, I mean, isn't every fixture a good fixture for City?
Yeah, true, but they got some of the easier ones, I'd say.
Okay, so I'll take my turn with the chopping block. I'm going to go with Leon Bailey. He got hyped a lot in pre-season. I personally don't have him, but I look at him and I wanted him in my team for sure. Like looking at his pre-season form, it seemed like he was going to, score goals and do what he was brought in to do before he got kind of injured last year. But it just seems he's just kind of fallen a bit flat at the moment. And I just feel like, with the Villa's fixtures and whatnot, I just don't think that, he's worth keeping around for now.
Yeah. So it's like that argument where you can probably drop Bailey And, someone like Coutinho, you might have to hold just because he does have that special spark that can come out of nowhere. But as I said before, like a Villa midfielders besides from Buendia didn't really do it for me, especially last week.
No, agreed. Well, I think one last one we'll highlight before we move on, Miles. So last week we were picking up Gross. This week, are we dropping Gross?
That's a drop for me. I thought it could be a little bit of a differential of someone that could be, a pick up and keep his spot. But look, Welbeck, Trossard are probably just better picks than Pascal.
I'd agree with that. Okay, now I want to give us as much time as possible in our next section because we've got some fun stuff to talk about. We'll do our fan questions segment. Hito, you've got a couple here. Do you want to lead us in with maybe two of those, and then Miles will finish with your fan question?
Yeah, sure. I've got a couple of trade questions, boys.
Okay.
So the first one is Thiago Silva and Bowen for Diaz, defender, and JWP.
Oh, Diaz, defender.
Oh, man, that's kind of hard, but I do prefer the Thiago Silva Bowen personally.
It's
Why is
more
that?
exciting to me. I feel like whenever I'm making these decisions, I'm always making them based on what sounds sexier.
Actually, you know what? After saying it, I'm going to go back to Diaz JWP simply for the fact I think City have got so many more clean sheets than Chelsea. And I think that JWP, even though, he's not as explosive as Bowen, he's so consistent. And that's what you need in draft. You need players that you can just play for like 10, 15 weeks, pick up their points. I'm going Diaz JWP.
Fair enough. Hito, are you going to swing us in one direction?
Yeah, I'm. It all hinges on if Bowen can replicate last season, which I don't think he'll do it as much. And even if he goes similar, I think JWP's got some goals in him, so I think I would go with that too.
Ooh, I'm outnumbered. Shit.
Look,
Right.
It's very hard though, to be honest, because it's all taking that risk on Bowen. So
It is a risk reward trade, I think.
yeah,
Okay, boys.
it is.
Let's move on to our next one here. Excuse me.
So we got another trade one again. So we got Dallo and Potence for Justin and Barnes. This one's obvious for me.
Justin Barnes.
Well, is Barnes still injured? I don't know much about him at the moment.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually quickly looking him up now.
I think that he's still got
He's
a bit
still
of an
injured.
Oh man,
Unknown
this is a
date.
tough one.
Unknown return date. Shit.
Look, I don't want to say the one with Dallo in it because it's fucking United Defence, but I think that I have to just because Barnes is and Justin's not that much better than Dallo. I mean, the best thing about it is getting Potence and hope that he goes well, and I'd say drop them all maybe.
Yeah,
It's not
they're all
the
drops
strongest.
for me.
No. But
Why
like,
trade him?
I'll go the Potence option.
Yeah, I'd say I want to keep Potence as well. Dallo's just like just a side piece to Bowden, really. Most of the depends how big your league is, but you could probably trade Dallo off the bench for something better. Okay, Miles, why don't we go into your fan question?
Yeah, so we got hit up by a new fan called Viren, and he sent us such a great message. Told us a bit about his league. He's in a 12-man league, and the bottom two at the end of each season get rightfully banished and get replaced by two new recruits.
Jesus. I hope they do like a banishing stick or something.
How intense is that?
That is savage. I just wish I had that many. I wish I had that many friends that play fantasy.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was thinking.
It's a bit of a different type of question. He actually sent me his whole draft order of, like the 12 teams. And I've just sent it to you guys on the chat. And I thought I've highlighted a couple of, interesting pickups in different rounds that I thought that we could just have a bit of a mention and see what you guys thought. And then I thought we could just have a little wrap up of like whose team we kind of are liking and maybe kind of predict maybe the winner of their league, maybe if we have time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Okay, well, give us your highlights, Marlo.
So the first round went pretty standard. Obviously like Salah, Son, KDB, Kane, Haaland, Trent, Cancelo. And then it went Bruno. So this is my first highlighted one. So in the 8th pick, someone picked up Bruno Fernandes. And afterwards, there's Gabriel Jesus, Robertson, Diaz, Van Dijk. And I'm thinking all of those players are pickups ahead of Bruno, even before, even
there's
after.
A bit of hindsight there. For me, Bruno still has pull. And
I had
also
those other guys.
that we didn't know what Ronaldo was doing.
Yeah, no. I still had Bruno further down than that.
I know you. I disagree with both of you.
Wow, I'm like, for me, he was like a 3rd round pickup. Sorry,
whoa, that's huge.
Yeah, same.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough. In our 7-man league, we should reiterate, this is a 12-man league.
The 12-man, but it's still 8th pick, so it's like first pick of the 2nd round for us.
Yeah, very early.
What's your next highlight, Miles?
So the next round actually was really, really standard. Besides, one thing I wanted to mention was maybe ASM in the 2nd round.
Whoa.
So like there's so many options like Tony and Kulusevski and, even like, hasn't done much this year so far, but like Chile and a couple of players. Martinelli went at the end of the 4th for them.
What?
Like Jota. Jota was like the start of the 4th for them. Like, so that was pretty interesting. And like even Trippier has gone before any of those names I've just mentioned.
So, that's crazy.
So they were a couple of interesting ones. And then the next 2 that I wanted to mention were the 2 premium keepers. So Alisson and Edison. Alisson goes at the end of the 5th round. And then Edison stays all the way until the middle of the 8th.
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
Dude.
Did other keepers go before that?
That's crazy. I'm looking at it now. Like Anthony Gordon went around the same time as Edison. And Alonso. Whoa.
Boys, Conor Gallagher went in the 4th.
I know.
Yeah. Yes,
I saw that.
Someone
this is
really
gnarly.
took a punt on that.
That's a real big punt.
And that same guy went ASM in the 2nd. Oh, I'm a bit worried.
He's got a few risks to his name.
Yeah. It's called New Team Number 9, I think, is his team name.
That's what names are written all over it. He's promoted. He's one of the
promoted team.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. All right.
But other than that, I thought that, the tail end of their draft is pretty standard considering they're in a 12-man league.
Dude, can you imagine the back end of that draft? It'd be so slow.
I did notice that Bamford went middle of the 12th, and I'm thinking that that's really, really late for him as well.
Yes, in this situation, I completely agree with that. Like, that's way late. Like, Jimenez went same. Like, Jimenez is going way after, like, Dwight McNeil in the middle of the 8th round. Like, what is that about?
Oh, dude, that's crazy. Boys, I reckon we should pick our favourite team just for what was our boy's name again? Sorry, Marlo?
So our boy, his real name's Viren, and his team name is, I know that he got first pick, is Garam Masala.
Okay, let's pick our favorite team, boys. I'm gonna go first and say it's between Red Devil FC and who have Jesus, Saka, Zaha, Jota, Harrison, Cresswell. Like, it's a really nice solid base.
Yeah, I like that. They've got a good keeper in Martinez as well. They got Nori, who's been talked up.
It's
I
pretty
like
solid.
that. What was your other one there, Heat?
I think my other one was, actually, I can't remember. You boys go first. I have to look at. There's a lot of fucking players in this team.
I know I'm struggling here. Just obviously, it's my first look at. I'm trying to get a feel for it, but I'm looking at Don Conte. And
Don Conte. Yeah, that looks like a great team, actually.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking at his first three picks and going, I think he had one of the most solid first three. And even at that stage, getting Ronaldo,
so he went Haaland, James, Kulusevski, Ronaldo,
and Guimaraes.
Kyle Walker later on, Mendy later on.
He got Rashford, and at the time, Rashford, I would have taken a risk probably around then on him. Got Kyle Walker, Mendy, Sven Botman. He got Jimenez. Who knows if he was into that stage. It's a decent team. Leon Bailey too. I know we were just kind of shit talking him, but at the time of draft, he was valued.
So, Ben Rama.
I don't mind that team. That's a pretty solid one. Marlo, what do you?
What about you? Yeah, what do you like, Marlo?
I love Don Conte's name as well. That's
very good.
That's dope. Yeah.
Look, I'm just gonna say I really like Toronto Scouse's team.
Yep.
He goes, KDB, Bowen, Tony, Havertz, Koulibaly. He's got to drop regular, and I don't even know if he's there anymore.
He is.
Yeah, it drops away after that, but he's got
Dyer and Ben White. Connor Cody could be okay-ish, but I think he needs to do a bit of work. But I really like the first 5 picks.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that too. Oh, that was fun. Okay, lads. Well, let's round it up. I think we should move on to our top pickups for this week. Now, obviously, this segment, it's the pickups are just like maybe slightly more outsiders, not the known names or maybe players that, you might not expect to pick up. So we've all come up with 3. Milo, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so we've already mentioned a couple of them, but, I'm thinking Ben Mee, he could be available, and so I think that he could be a pickup, and I think that he's got defensive returns as well as possibly attacking. I think good fixtures. Yeah, good fixtures. I think Danny Ings, I think a lot of people kind of slept on him, especially in shorter leagues. He could be available. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to mention my next pick during the Nottingham talk that we just did, just to mention him now. I thought Nico Williams played so well, and he was crossing in some amazing balls. So if the attackers get on the end of a couple of them and they keep a clean sheet, there can be some double-digit hauls for Nico. And I know you told me to pick 3, but I never listen to what you say. I got a little sneaky special mention, one to watch, Mitoma from Brighton.
Who's that?
So he's their new signing. He came on for about a quarter of an hour at the end of last week, and he looked so good.
Really?
Yeah. Have a look at his highlights. I think there's a little package of, him coming on in their game. And he looked really spicy. I think once he starts getting, some regular starts and minutes, he could be explosive.
We know we love that word. So, yeah, sounds good. All right, not bad, Hito. Are you going to stick to the rules? Go with just 3?
I can stick with the rules, and I'm going to follow a similar trend to Marlo. I've got 2 Brentford players in there. De Silva, top pickup now that he's got the second goal. And he's proven he's potentially got a starting spot. It's a bit obvious, but I think that's definitely a pickup.
Yeah, I think because I pointed it out last week.
Definitely. If only you pulled the trigger, mate.
Oh.
And then I've also thrown in a cheeky one of Jensen. So the midfielder.
Jensen or Jensen?
I'm going to say Jensen. Midfielder. I know it's only kind of one game, but he was all over. And I know it was United as well. So it's a bit more of a loose one, but goal and assist free bonus. He was everywhere that game. I'd be interested just in the punt on that one.
Yeah.
And my final one is Brighton defense, actually. Not too fussed on who, like Veltman or Dunk or probably those two are probably the most returns now that Cucurella's gone, but just because of their fixture run, like West Ham, Leeds, Fulham, Leicester, Bournemouth, Palace.
Ooh.
That's actually not bad, eh? And
like,
honestly,
not bad.
Dunk is that great goal scoring threat too, off set pieces. Like, he can get in amongst it.
Yeah, 100%. And I just kind of like that run of fixtures, and we know over time they can be quite solid. So I think that's an interesting play for the next couple of weeks.
Okay, I'll go through mine quickly and we'll wrap it up. Mine are an interesting bunch. So, I mean, I'll start with my most obvious one, Rodrigo. I know we've already mentioned him. He's probably on the fringe of just being one of our top form players, but I know in our league, when I grabbed him, there was no contest for me to get him after he scored in his first game week. And I'd say, there'd be no doubt that he's going to be hot property on this waiver wire. So if he didn't get picked up last week. So, yeah, Rodrigo, is in great form and Leeds have good fixtures. So that's a pretty straightforward one. I want to shout out Nathan Aki. He's got 2 starts. Laporte is out at least till the 3rd of September. Maybe even longer. And, those City clean sheets, it's just a good clean sheet.
Bless you.
So, yeah, I just feel like that's a fairly solid one, for a couple game weeks, get a couple clean sheets, cash in, and, when Laporte starts phasing in, then ditch him.
Matty cash it.
Cash him in. And then the last one is kind of an outsider, probably early to jump on him, especially with the fact that West Ham aren't performing super well. But Ben Rama, he just looks super spicy, off the woodwork. He had a disallowed goal in that game.
Ben Rama, flash people.
Yeah.
No sex for Ben Rama.
Good one, Heath. So I don't know. Like, that's definitely an outsider. Might not be this week, but I'm keeping my eye on him.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to watch.
I like it. He actually looked the best player for West Ham for me during that game.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure. Boys, I think that wraps us up.
Yeah,
it does.
I had fun. I wish it was in person. It's always better in person, but we made it work. And next week we'll be back.
Exactly. And I think we should shout out, if anyone's still listening, if you like what you're hearing, give us a rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you can.
Yeah, 5 stars are good. Anything lower than that, don't bother.
Yeah. Rate it as if you're rating Chomp chocolates and lemon lime bitter vodkas.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Pretend you're munching on drinking on one of those boys and vote away.
And don't forget to reach out to us on our Instagram, Twitter. It's FPL Draft Boyz.
With a Z.
With a Z. That's very important.
With the boys.
Missed a couple just for people tweeting that FPL Draft Boyz.
Boys.
On that note, boys.